welcome along to our March Wine Club, where we're looking at the wines of Germany. We have three lovely wines for you this month, which we hope you'll enjoy. Germany, I suppose, a region which is growing in popularity here in Greenman. I think very food-friendly wines, very diverse range of wines, and we've got three different grape varieties and different expressions of the wines of Germany, and some of which you may be very familiar with, and some less so. I think a very exciting part of the world, and with all the climate change and everything going on, they're diversifying and making more interesting wines. Big fans of Riesling, always have been. Riesling is a big wine lover's grape, but I think the one we're going to show today is very accessible. So Luke, Laura and myself are going to talk through our picks as such, and what you will be drinking, and don't listen to us, enjoy and make up your own mind. We're just giving you our own thoughts on it, but enjoy yourself when you get to try them. So we're going to start off with a nice wine from Chasselas, grape, and from the region of Baden, and Luke is going to give you a few words about this.
So this is a grape called Chasselas, which is kind of has a spiritual home in Switzerland. It's by a producer called Zayreisen. They're based more kind of in the south of Germany on the French border, like bordering Alsace. So what I like about this wine, even straight off the bat, is Chasselas is going through a bit of a renaissance. It's notoriously a neutral grape, high acid, and I've had the pleasure of trying some different Chasselas from different producers. I feel like it's being reinvented as a more, these guys making wines like this out of notoriously neutral grape. It is real magic, and it's alpine wizardry, really.
Kind of reductive on the nose.
Yeah, I got a slight little
that nice
kind of
smoky, flinty element.
A little bit kind of charred lemon energy that I like from these wines. A little kind of green fruits and white flowers, kind of lychee there as well.
Lovely low alcohol. There's absolutely no burn to it. It's not what it comes in at, about
11%, I think.
11%, yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's just something different.
The acid's there, it's got a little bit kind of greenness to it as well. There's a slight kind of lactic nuances, the kind of breadiness coming in because it's been 24 months on the lees. A certain kind of richness because it's all stainless steel fermentation. A little bit kind of zingy, kind of ping, kind of cuts through that as well. Really ties it up at the end. Super food friendly wine. I have a kind of more kind of creamier cheeses, but it is excellent. It's refreshing, and because it's low alcohol, probably see myself drinking a lot of this.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
Super producer. We've only tried this probably about 3 weeks ago for the first time, and I think we all agreed that it was just like tremendous. It was like a really different rock and roll. Chasselas can be expensive from Switzerland for sure. We thought this kind of ticked so many boxes, and really loved it. And a lovely kind of spring into summer kind of wine. It's got that lovely freshness and acidity, and
low alcohol.
And low alcohol as well.
Absolutely.
It's like lunchtime wine. Perfect.
Great. Nice choice.
Yeah, nice choice.
Cool. Great.
Yeah.
Do you want to move on to wine number 2?
Yeah, let's try the wine number 2. So we're going with Riesling. Probably Germany's most famous grape variety.
It's a typical German bottle.
Absolutely,
which sometimes terrifies people.
People think German Riesling, they think automatically it's going to be sweet. It's going to be the horror story of Liefermilch and kind of flashbacks to Blue Nun, Black Terror, which all have their place in introducing us to wine. This is a lovely wine. It's made by a guy called Dirk Richter, who's a 10th generation producer. It's been in family ownership since 1680.
Even older, yeah.
Yeah, even older again. Very classic style of German Riesling. You got this lovely kind of balance of minerality, slatiness, and then the kind of nice opulence of fruit coming through. There's a little touch of residual sugar, so it's not bone dry for sure, which makes it super food friendly. A little bit of
contrary to
spice
what people think, people tend to be terrified of sweetness.
Yeah.
But I think the beauty of these Rieslings, particularly from the Mosel, where this is from, more northern Germany, is you get that balance between zingy acidity that you were talking about, Luke, and that touch of sweetness. And it is food friendly. It's not a dessert wine on any level.
No, super well balanced, and this was, I think, Asian food, something with a bit of creaminess to it as well, kind of help cut through it. It's lovely, expressive, kind of almost kind of floral notes. You definitely get that hint of honey, but then you get that lovely Germanic acidity coming through, which keeps it fresh and bright. This is a 2020 vintage, so it's the latest vintage that we had. It's only my third time trying it. Interesting vintage, that the COVID vintage. There we mentioned that. So I think it was difficult for a lot of wineries throughout the world to actually get people to pick grapes and just to carry on their usual marketing business and so on. But there was a lot of domestic interest and kind of domestic tourism, like we had here, like staycations. People would travel around to go to wine regions, go visit these guys. Well, the challenge was Donald Trump's importation tariffs as well in the States, so there was probably a little bit less demand from the US, and therefore a bit more availability.
Because I think the US is their
Europe,
biggest market, so it's a bit of a chance for us to explore these wines a bit more, so we can get our hands on them.
Absolutely.
This is another low alcohol wine. It's only 10.5% alcohol, and again, it's that cool climate. The grapes are fully ripe, but it's not as sunny or it's not as warm as some of them. So it's a nice, refreshing wine compared to a lot
well
of wines.
balanced. It's got this nice sweetness, dryness, got acidity to it. It's got a really lovely level of alcohol to it. I think it's just a delicious little drop, and it's great. And this wine served. This was from their biggest vineyard site, and they were serving this wine back in. The label is inspired by this back on the Hindenburg back in the 1930s. So
the Zeppelin.
That's the Zeppelin. The Zeppelin is the space.
It's probably one of their most recognised labels. The Zeppelin label. It's often called. It's a lovely drop. So. Well, they certainly know what they're doing after 10 generations, I think.
For sure.
What I like about this, the wine you had, Luke, is real new age Germany. The more maverick type of producer doing something different, and a carpenter by trade who kind of diverts into winemaking and has become really well known for making wines very true to him and his terroir. And then you have the people who've been doing it for as long as anyone can remember and still managing to produce wines of such quality and authenticity from different sides of the spectrum completely.
A bit like the two of us, the maverick and the old timer.
And me in the middle. Yeah, good. Okay.
It's important that people don't get scared of residual sugar. You need it balances out the acid very well. So generally speaking, the lower the sugar, the lower the alcohol, the higher sugar content's going to be, and the sweeter the Riesling. The sweetness only works if the acid's there. And if there wasn't residual sugar in this, the acid is protruding too much. And a little bit of residual sugar really balances it out. Really excellent drop.
Gives it more mouthfeel as well.
Absolutely. And a good tip on German wines, actually, generally, if there is a dry wine that you're after, you'll see the word trocken on the label, which means dry. But we deliberately included an off-dry Riesling here because it's something that we think people don't need to be afraid of. And when you try this wine, you'll see why we endorse it so much. It's such quality wine at the price. So our third wine is a Pinot Noir, a Trocken, so it's a dry Pinot Noir from the Rheinhessen, another region further south, and you can tell it's 13.5% alcohol, so a lot more sunshine in the Rheinhessen area. Geil is probably one of the most respected producers of Pinot Noir in Germany, if not outside Burgundy in general at this price point. And we wanted to show Pinot Noir from Germany for two reasons. Firstly, to show how good it can be, and secondly, to offer a value Pinot Noir. It's kind of the epitome of great wine being a Burgundy Pinot Noir, but it's inaccessible to so many people because to get a really good Burgundy at a decent price is a bit of an achievement. So for us, this really represents the value that can be got because it has real varietal typicity as well as showing a real authentic expression in Germany, I think. So it's the Geil family are making wine since 1871. Johannes Geil is the current winemaker, and they like to make accessible, drinkable wines. So drinking now, they're not for long aging. They're varietal expressions, very much about the fruit, and his winemaking techniques are very much about preserving purity of aroma and purity of flavour. So this looks and tastes like a Pinot Noir. It has those lovely red fruits. It has some of the oak characteristics, a little touch of oak that just adds a bit of substance. And we just really enjoyed this wine.
Yeah, I think it's a really friendly wine, which works so well with food. You see this on restaurant lists, good restaurant lists around town, and it's a great food pairing wise. The tannins are kind of really well integrated. It's got silky, not green or mean or anything like that. It's just got really kind of generosity to it. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this month's selection and the last few selections we put together over the last 3 months or so. For those of you who are continuing on for the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, good on you. We've got some beauties coming down the line for you. The videos that we're starting doing now are kind of just our interpretation of the wines and how we feel about them. They're not technical at all, but just I think all our wines are selected with emotion first and foremost, and because we love the wines and we hope that you love them as much as we do. We are going to go forward and do lots of new things, lots of things planned, like Zoom tastings with some of our importers and suppliers and winemakers, which will be very exciting. As you are now in the inner circle of our wine club, you will have first dibs on these. You'll be the first to find out about these, because they will be limited and exclusive to smaller groups, and of which you are in. You'll also get information about new and exclusive wines, kind of one-off things that are very highly sought after, which we can only get a certain amount of bottles of, and like you get first dibs on all that. We hope to be rolling out our Zoom tastings, which will be really interesting. We've got a few planned. We've got a really excellent Burgundy one planned where you get an opportunity to try some top end Burgundies at a very affordable price. So thank you very much.